misma.
There's an old story about a man named Job. It's one of the oldest stories ever told. Now, Job is a good man. In fact, the storyteller insists that Job is the greatest man in his whole part of the earth. Job is a good man, but he's also a wealthy man. He's got land and crops, and he's got animals, and he's got servants, and he's got a house full of kids. But in this story, everything falls apart for Job. Much of his wealth is stolen. The rest is consumed by fire, and then in a tragic accident, his kids are killed. And as if that isn't more agony than one person can bear, he ends up with these painful sores all over his body. So we find him sitting in ashes, mourning his loss. And he's got this broken shard of pottery, and he's scraping his skin just to try and get some relief. And his wife says to him, "Are you still holding on to your integrity? Curse God and die." And then Job's friends come, and they sit with him. And so they give their answers and explanations, and Job defends himself, and they give their opinions, and Job comes back with his perspective on everything. And so they debate, and they discuss, and they question, and they confront. And then, in the end, when everybody has had their chance to speak, God speaks. God speaks out of the whirlwind. And when God speaks, we find out that God has questions for Job. God asks Job, "Who is this that darkens my counsel with words without knowledge? Brace yourself like a man, and I will question you, and you will answer me. Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? And tell me if you understand. Who marked off its dimensions?" To the ocean, this far you may come, but no farther. Here is where your proud waves halt. Job, have you ever given orders to the morning, or shown the dawn its place, that it might take the earth by the edges and shake the wicked out of it? The earth takes shape like clay under a seal. Its features stand out like those of a garment. The wicked are denied their light. Their upraised arm is broken. Have you ever journeyed to the springs of the sea, or walked in the recesses of the deep? Have the gates of death been shown to you? Have you seen the gates of the shadow of death? Have you comprehended the vast expanses of the earth? Tell me if you understand. What is the way to the abode of light, or where does darkness reside? battle? I mean, where is the place where the lightning is dispersed, or the east winds are scattered over the earth? Who cuts a channel for the torrents of rain, or makes a path for the thunderstorm, that it may water a land with no one in it, a desert where no man lives, to satisfy a desolate wasteland and make it sprout forth with grass? Does the rain have a father? Who fathers the drops of dew? From whose womb comes the ice? Who gives birth to the frost from the heavens, when the waters become hard as stone and the surface of the deep is frozen? Can you bind the beautiful Pleiades? Can you cut loose the cords of Orion? Can you bring forth the constellations in their seasons, or let out the bear and its cubs? Do you know the laws of heaven? Can you set up dominion over the earth? Can you raise your voice above the clouds? Can you cover yourself in a flood of water? Do you send the lightning bolts on their way? Do the lightning bolts say to you, "Here we are"? Who endowed the heart with wisdom, or gave understanding to the mind? Who has wisdom? Times they give birth, they crouch down and bring forth their young. Their labor pains are ended. Their young thrive and they grow strong in the wild. They leave and they do not return. Who let the wild donkey go free? Who untied his ropes? I gave him the desert as his home, the salt flats as his habitat. He laughs at the commotion in town. He does not hear the shout of the driver. He ranges the hills looking for pasture, seeking out any green thing. Will the wild ox consent to serve you? Compared to the pinions and feathers of a stork. She lays her eggs on the ground. She lets them warm in the sand. She is unmindful that a foot may crush them or a wild animal may trample them. She treats her young harshly as if they aren't even hers, as if her labor was in vain. She wasn't endowed with wisdom or given her share of good sense. Yet when she spreads her feathers to run, she laughs at horse and rider. Do you give the horse his mighty strength? Do you clothe his neck with a flowing mane? Do you make him leap like a locust, striking terror with his proud snorts? He stays there at night. The rocky crag is his stronghold. From there, he seeks out his food. His eyes can detect it from far. His young, they feast on blood, and where the slain are, there he is. And then God said to Job, "Will the one who contends with the Almighty correct him? Let him who accuses God answer him." And then Job said, "I am unworthy. Who am I to reply to you? I put my hand over my mouth. I spoke once, but I have no answer." honest, healthy, human thing to possibly do is to shout your question and shake your fist and rage against the heavens and demand an explanation. But true wisdom, the kind we find here with Job, the kind that endures, the kind that sustains a person through suffering, that kind of wisdom knows when to speak and when to be silent. Because your story is not over. The last word has not been spoken. And there may be way more going on here than any of